Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I've got something really exciting in store for you all. I've got a special guest to feature today. My friend Jo Chrobak is here, and she is an architectural and interior designer originally from Sydney, so Australian, who's been working in London for the last 10 years. Jo's particular interests lie in how our homes affect our lifestyles, which you know is what I talk about a lot. So I've asked her to give us a few tips today on how we can use our homes to create a healthy lifestyle. So welcome, Jo.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Thanks for being here. What's the weather like in London today?
You know what, surprisingly, it's actually really beautiful. I think everyone's going to get barbecues out. But not like Aussie barbecues.
No. It's probably the same weather we're having here today, and it's winter.
What's it like? What's the temperature?
It's probably like around the 15, 16s here. Beautiful day.
That's the same here. Don't worry. It's summer here.
So what I wanted to ask you to talk to about us today on was some tips, some advice that can help us sort of make our home more of our sanctuary, make it a place that we can come to at the end of the day and we can really feel like nurtured and a safe space. It's really going to help us recover from like a busy day at work or sometimes when you're not feeling your greatest. Because, I mean, I know you and I have spoken a lot about this, how our home is definitely our sanctuary and a place that we can recharge. And you know, we don't always have a massive budget to sort of renovate, and we don't always have a lot of energy to go around and, you know, shop at, you know, hundreds of shops to try and find beautiful pieces. So what tips can you give us to sort of help us on this journey?
Wow. To be honest, I have now been working in architecture for about 17 years, and I honestly have seen the impacts of how people's lives are affected by their homes. So out of all of the tips that I can give, and I know that your followers are all very, very busy people, and usually work long hours, like many architects, and really, you know, I mean, when people come home, usually they just throw everything off and end up just leaving it, and then get to their home routine. I think routine is a part of how you live at home, and I think that is a part, but we won't go into that today. But I think, you know, that is for another time. But to give you some really, really quick tips, I think, for what you could use straight away and would impact your life straight away, and help you wind down, I think, is, I know this seems so obvious, but I think the first most important thing is literally once a week, make sure either you or somebody, even if you hire a cleaner, cleans your home. I think this is, I mean, it's so obvious, but it impacts you psychologically, it impacts you physically, it really impacts absolutely everything. And never underestimate how important a clean house really is. Even if, you know, if you're renting, I know it's not so much for the people in Australia because most people have and the US, they really do have bigger spaces. Most people living in larger cities in Europe really do share spaces with other people they don't know necessarily. So it's really important for everybody that you're living with to really make sure that that happens, because it can really affect you. And most of the people sharing their homes in the UK, I mean, their biggest gripe is cleanliness. You could just delete that out of your stress every single day. And I mean, it really is such a simple thing, but, you know, the physical benefits of having a clean house, opening windows, you know, really breathing some fresh air. Not so much of an issue in Australia and warmer countries. I think you do that naturally. Whereas I think definitely here in the UK, people don't open their windows. You know, we do have trickle vents and things that get clogged up, and that, you know, we get a lot of mold, especially not so much in summer, but in winter, it really can make you sick. So opening windows, cleaning your home regularly, and not just once a year, not just in spring, not just
When
before
summer's coming.
yeah, every week.
Yeah.
And you will be amazed at how dirty your house really gets. That dust, the hair everywhere, just really, I mean, and it just really does seem so simple, doesn't it? But it really is one of the most critical, important things. And when you walk into a room, you can always tell.
You can always tell. Always.
Yeah. And it's the difference between or you know.
I love that. The difference between
And it really is. And that, you know, honestly for me, that changes everything.
I know that when I come home, and you know, my house is relatively tidy, but if it's not clean, like I come home and I'm like, I can't sit down. I have to, can't help myself because I can't relax if it's dirty. Like it just doesn't make me happy. It just makes me feel like it's not a safe space for me. I mean, it's not like not a safe space, but you know, or it doesn't like make me feel relaxed. It doesn't make me feel nurtured. It doesn't make me feel anything like that. So I can definitely think that. And like you said, it's the simplest thing. Just clean your house. And if you can't do it, find someone who can do it.
Yeah, it's worth it. It really is. It's worth all those thoughts that go through your mind when you walk into a dirty house. You can just get rid of it. It's your choice, really.
Absolutely.
It's your choice. It's like I choose to clean my house every week. And if it's not me, I choose to pay someone, $15 a week to do it. It's really worth it.
Just for your sanity.
Yeah, and all of those unnecessary thoughts. You know, it's like on the minds every day, and that really is health. I mean, healthy mind is, you know,
where it all starts, because if you're unhealthy up here, we all know how they connect.
Well, yeah, exactly. So the only other there's two other points I would make. Number two is to actually create a comfortable and safe sanctuary space. So decide on a space where you actually decide that this is your space to get away. If it's your own home, for example, for me, it is the bathroom. I know that sounds, but you know, many mums will understand that, and also many people who live with other people, or just people with really big houses, could also. I mean, for me, I love a bath at the end of the day. I have to admit. I mean, I don't have a bath every day, but on a really stressful day, that is where I go. And I'll have to, I'm just thinking at the moment I have to boil water for to have a hot bath because this is a new property. But
telling me that.
but again, you know, it's about that warm sensation for me. It's like physically being put somewhere really warm, where it's almost a physical cradling. I mean, that could be like a sunny chair in a sunroom for you. Like you need to decide where it is, but notice your habits, because you'll naturally go there anyway. Some people go to bed and they'll close everything around them and turn on like a little lamp. But as long as you know what that place is, make sure you know that that place is not sacred, but borderline. You know, it should be. You know, it's your space where, you know, you really make it clear to everyone that you're having your time. And then the other thing I would say about that is make sure that you have those physical senses. So, for example, I'll have a hot bath, turn off all the lights. Because it usually is, for me, it's at the end of a really long day. If I've had a really stressful day, or, you know, something, you know, just really exhausting.
It's the week.
Yeah, exactly. So I need to physically, I'll light a candle, I'll turn everything else off, I'll put either some natural oils in the bath, or like an oil that it's good for my skin.
Oh, yeah.
And then, or some salts, depending on whether I'm washing my hair that day or not. And I'll always put, if the candle isn't like an aromatherapy candle, I'll put that into the bath. But I mean, again, these things are really simple.
For sure. And not expensive.
No, really. And they're just really all things that can change your mood almost instantly. And I think that to me is real health. I mean, yes, I a room is 4 walls and a ceiling and a floor, but our life happens in those boundaries. So the importance of what you've put around you really impacts your daily life. And if you accept that, it doesn't really, okay, yeah, we all dream about that amazing property. And it really does bring a change of lifestyle and a really amazing change to your everyday life and habits. But, in the meantime, you can bring that into your daily life. You really can have a part of that just by making real little changes.
Absolutely. And I like what you said about creating like a space for you in your home. Because if your home is not necessarily how you would like it to be at the moment, you've got a big design of how you want to maybe redecorate a room or something, but you think, that can only happen in 6 months' time when I've, done X, Y, Z. Creating a space in your house now that you can come to, like you said, just a chair, by a sunny window, or, having your bathroom, make sure even though it maybe is, not how you want it designed, but you can still make sure it's clean. You can have your nice candles around. You can have like a pretty little thing in the corner, but it's a space that you come to and you instantly feel like, I feel like I'm in this special space. And I noticed that it's funny you should say that, because when I think back, whenever I've been in a situation where like my home was not necessarily the place where my family lived, and I had maybe a room in a house, I always felt like I had to make that room like my sanctuary. So it was always clean. And I would make sure I had like really nice duvet covers, and I'd have like a pretty cushion on the bed. I'd have like a candle next to the bed, and I'd be able to play some soft music and stuff that I liked. And maybe I had some like comfy slippers. So when I would come home at the end of the day, I'd like put on a really nice like clean pair of pajamas. Like I felt like I was instantly like taken care of just because of those simple things that I'd done.
Wow. I think we shouldn't ever underestimate, this is our life, and little daily habits and routines are what make up our life.
Absolutely.
So there's little string of events in your memory. They're the biggest trigger. Smell is actually the biggest trigger of memory, but these are the things we remember when we're from our childhood. Things like even bad events could be, you think of the space where it happened, or even, this is where life happens for us. And it's really that physical kind of, it's not cradling, but that physical transformation you get from being in a space where you feel safe is really formative.
Absolutely.
Necessary.
Do you have any ideas on how sort of, if you don't necessarily, say for example, like my home office, which is like in my spare room, as you can see, and so I created like a bit of a corner, like I've got my desk and I sort of, created a little bookcase with stuff on it. Do you have any tips on how you could personalize the space more without sort of overcrowding, overcluttering, but making it feel like it's more of a personalized space? So like, I don't know, whether it's candles or, having like a really nice cushion on the chair. Do you have any tips on that kind of stuff?
You know what? I have a million tips.
Of course.
I'll give you 2. First of all, definitely decide on what you like. I think to get a coherent kind of understanding of what is you and what you feel safe around, I think look at what you already have, not only just in this room, but what you haven't included, what you put away in boxes, things you've collected from over the years that you've collected because you like. So go and find those things and start introducing them. Also, I would say be conscious about how you're doing it. So first of all, the biggest tip is know what you like. So find the things from your past, or even from like that right now that you absolutely love and you want to be surrounded by. And number 2 is think about what you use that space for. So if it is functional, it's okay to have decorative items. So and it's okay. It's not pure modernism. This is your home. This is not a show home. It's where you live. For example, if you are going to be using video, it is important what's behind you, and how you are presenting yourself. So in terms of your home office, I would definitely think about what you're presenting, because that's what people are seeing. And then I would also say test. The best way to see what other people are seeing is take a photograph and look at the photo, because then you're starting to see something through someone else's eyes.
That's a fantastic idea, yeah.
And then I would add, take away, add, take away, add, take away. That was how I learned. You don't learn that in architecture school. You learn that from practice.
Yeah.
No. So, and you learn that from looking at other people's vignettes and little ways that they've set up things. So find, first of all, style that you like, even if it's on Pinterest. Or that's what I said to my clients, go to Pinterest. It's such an amazing search engine and really, really fun.
Oh, I spent hours.
So many architects I know really dumb it down, but it really deserves a lot more than that, because it is a visual dictionary. I mean, not everything is right, but if you're using it to find what you like, then it's completely right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that's the easiest and fastest way to really get an idea of your life. The only thing I would say with that is watch. There are a million ideas, so you can really easily get a little bit not OTT, but overwhelmed, because
I like this one.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a million different styles. So then you have to decide on what you've got here and what you're going to work with. So yeah, I mean, obviously I'm massively in love with like rustic country kind of styles. That's why I moved out to Reading. But it's not every house has to be that house. And obviously your budget and what you're planning and willing to spend really comes into play, because you could spend a lot of money.
For sure.
Yeah. Well, exactly. Well, that's everyone's dream. Like all of my clients, they could spend any amount on the most amazing finishes, but you don't have to. Yes, of course, we all want to. And that's why decor is like a multi-million-pound industry. So
for sure.
We all want to be surrounded by beautiful things.
So on that, like, I think you touched on it earlier as well, like in your home and, creating it as a sanctuary for yourself, and being aware that you're probably coming home at the end of a busy day, you're probably really, constantly tired and, trying to get out of that space. You touched on like the senses. So is it important to include those in your space to nourish you, like really nice fabric, or like the smell of a candle or an essential oil burning? Like, is that stuff important to create a really nice sanctuary in your home?
Well, so now this is moving into the interior realm, and the biggest thing you'll find, like especially most interior designers, will really, for a coherent space, you will need texture. You will need, all of these different elements, like drama, a little bit of height, a little bit of, colour, and all of these things that come together. So that also all mimics nature. We really do, in nature you have open spaces, you also have really safe spaces that are filled with texture, different feelings, soft, hard. And it is a subconscious, almost natural thing that we pick up on. And when it's missing, you can tell that there's something missing, even though you can't pick what it is. So I would always, this comes from my, it's a designer brain. Some people may not agree with this, it's fine, but I would always try it, see how it feels to have a palette of textures, a palette of colours that really warm your senses. I'm talking about warmth because 15 degrees, whatever. But in summer we could have a different conversation.
Yeah,
it could be. So, really, I would really definitely include things that you like. So, for example, I mean, I can't show you because it's a little bit down there, but I have a woven woolen rug in this room, and I put it over the disgusting carpet that was here originally. So we've only just moved into this place, but I needed somewhere to work from that I felt comforted and comfortable, and I definitely wanted something that gave me that texture. So I definitely added that into this space. So obviously you can't see it because you're only looking at this one little snippet of the room, but that does add an element of texture to this space, even though, again, just moved in here, we're really trying to get it moving along, but I needed somewhere straight away that I could feel as though I'm starting to connect with nature somehow. So I kind of threw that in, like I haven't actually brought that whole nature part into it, but it is a real subconscious feeling that we are all drawn to. For example, when we look at green, like the colour green, and in nature, it actually rests our eyes.
Oh, wow.
So it's it really is just a physical calming.
Yeah. That makes total sense.
Well, it's so odd, but we don't, especially in London, there are not a lot of trees. I mean, you get the parks, there's a lot of concrete and bricks and a lot of like man-made environments. These days, I think architectural, we really do get, I'm getting a bit off track here, but we do really try to take into consideration, obviously, the balance between nature and the built environment. But it's, in terms of bringing it back into the interior, that connection always needs to be there. And that's also, I mean, texture, that feeling, even though you could use it with natural materials, it's definitely a way of getting closer to nature. So I try to include it, even if it's the colour of the sky. It's really that simple.
Yeah. And when you say it out loud, like when you say it like that, you kind of like, it makes so much sense, But I suppose we're so unconscious of this kind of stuff. But when you like hear it like that, you can make a conscious effort to include stuff like that in your space. Because if you are someone who is struggling with coming home at the end of the day and constantly tired and you sort of like stressed out and overwhelmed, having those calming influences when you come home in your sanctuary is going to help you, differentiate between the working day and then coming home and then resting and relaxing and recuperating. Because if you struggle to differentiate between those two, that's what how you end up in overwhelm and stress, and then you end up in burnout because you're constantly just on this wave of high anxiety, and then you don't make that conscious shift between, okay, my work day is now over and this is time for me to rest. And when you create an environment when you come home at the end of the day and you feel like, yes, like we were saying at being you're able to go, okay, that part of the day is over. Now it's time for me to, recuperate and rest. And then you wake up the next morning and you feel better for it. Yeah. So I think you've nailed it.
It's like, you could even just simply include plants.
Exactly. It's that simple.
It really is. I mean, I know some of the stuff really, it does feel silly sometimes talking about it because, I will just do it. When I work, I will just include this stuff and people will naturally say, oh, wow, that just feels right. But this really is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think it is funny in some sense because, verbalizing it also, it just feels so obvious.
And for you, this is your daily language, this is your daily thoughts because, this is the zone that you're in. So, but for us people on the outside who don't, we don't speak this language, we don't necessarily think this stuff all the time, you're like, well, that's totally obvious. Why wouldn't you do that? We're going, revolutionary. So, I think we got some great tips today on, how we can, simple things that we can do to create our, like, a bit more of a sanctuary at home when we come home, to try and help us ease out of that, when you come home, you're like so wound up, and help you, remember that your home is a place where you rest. The home is a place where you come, for time out and peace. And I know that you and I have spoken, ad nauseum about this stuff, and, you're obviously very passionate about it. So thank you for sharing with us today.
Thank you. Really, it is my pleasure.
And, guys, I'm going to put Jo's links in the email below. So make sure you check her out on Facebook, check her out on Instagram. She's got a 14-day video coming up, in video challenge, is it? Or is that what it was? Yep.
It's more for home decorating and it's more for people who are renovating. So it'll give you the steps to take if you're actually thinking about renovating, and more of an architectural interior look at the specific steps and items that you'll be looking at closely. That'll take your property from a DIY to thinking in a little bit more of a designer way. They just,
And you'll also see some shots of her part of her renovated home, which I tell you what, are phenomenal. So, watch the videos, if not just for that. So thank you so much for sharing with us today, Jo, and hope we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Rachel.